Emotional presence is one of the most profound ways to connect with a mature woman. It is not about grand gestures or constant verbal reassurance, but about the subtle art of being truly available in the moment. When you engage with her, she should feel that your attention is fully directed toward her, that you are not distracted by phones, plans, or external concerns. This means listening not just to the words she speaks, but to the emotions behind them. A mature woman has lived through experiences that have shaped her perspectives and feelings. She values a partner who notices the quiet shifts in her mood, who senses when something is troubling her even before she speaks. Emotional presence communicates empathy, understanding, and a deep appreciation for her inner world, making her feel seen in ways that go beyond superficial interaction. Being emotionally present also requires managing your own inner state. A mature woman can often sense when someone is preoccupied, anxious, or disconnected. To truly connect, you must cultivate a calm, centered presence that allows her to feel safe in expressing herself. This does not mean you must always be cheerful or problem-free. Rather, it is about offering a space where emotions can exist without judgment. When she shares her thoughts or vulnerabilities, responding with attentiveness and validation acts as a subtle yet powerful touch. This is a form of intimacy that builds over time, reinforcing the sense that your connection is not fleeting or conditional. It is this quiet reliability that often makes a mature woman more willing to open her heart deeply. The practice of emotional presence extends into everyday interactions as well. Simple acts like maintaining eye contact while she speaks, pausing to reflect on what she has said, and acknowledging her feelings with thoughtful responses all communicate that she matters. These are not actions performed for effect. They are sincere ways to engage with her mind and heart simultaneously. Over time, these small, consistent gestures accumulate into a strong emotional bond. She begins to associate your presence with comfort, attentiveness, and understanding, forming the foundation for trust and affection. Emotional presence, therefore, is less about dramatic statements and more about the continuous, conscious effort to be attuned to her inner life, creating an invisible thread that draws her closer in authentic, meaningful ways. Consistent support is one of the quiet yet most impactful ways to build a deep connection with a mature woman. Life has often taught her that people can be unpredictable, and reliability is a rare quality. Showing up consistently in both small and significant ways communicates that you are dependable and trustworthy. This does not mean grand gestures every day, but rather steady, thoughtful actions that demonstrate you are present when she needs you. From remembering important dates to offering help during stressful moments, each act of support signals that her well-being matters to you. Over time, this reliability cultivates a sense of safety, a foundational touch that reassures her emotionally and encourages her to invest her heart without fear of disappointment. Being consistently supportive also requires attentiveness to her unique rhythms and preferences. A mature woman appreciates a partner who notices when she needs space versus when she seeks companionship, when she is celebrating successes, or when she is navigating challenges. Anticipating these needs without being prompted reflects a genuine understanding and care that strengthens intimacy. This kind of support goes beyond offering solutions. It is about showing that you are attentive to her emotional landscape, that you are willing to walk alongside her through everyday life. When she senses that your presence is not conditional, that it is steady regardless of circumstances, it builds trust in ways that words alone cannot convey. Consistency in support is also deeply connected to actions matching intentions. Promises mean something, and following through on commitments, whether big or small, demonstrates integrity. Mature women often gauge a partner's character by observing patterns over time rather than reacting to isolated moments. A consistent, dependable presence creates an emotional anchor, a steady force she can rely upon even during turbulent times. This anchor allows her to feel secure, seen, and valued, fostering a space where love can grow naturally and deeply. Supportive actions also communicate respect for her autonomy, as you are not trying to control or solve everything for her, but are instead offering genuine assistance that acknowledges her capabilities while providing partnership. Finally, consistent support is not about grand sacrifices or heroic efforts. It is about reliability, attentiveness, and follow-through. Small, meaningful gestures, checking in during a difficult day, listening patiently to concerns, celebrating accomplishments, or providing encouragement, accumulate into a powerful form of connection. Each act reinforces the message that she is valued and that her emotional and practical needs are important to you. Over time, this steady presence fosters a sense of stability and attachment, showing that love is not just a feeling but a lived experience through daily actions. It is in this quiet constancy, repeated thoughtfully and sincerely, that a mature woman feels deeply cared for, respected, and ultimately ready to fall in love. Intellectual engagement is a powerful way to deepen a connection with a mature woman. She has often experienced life in ways that have shaped her perspectives, and she values partners who can appreciate the depth of her thoughts. Engaging her mind requires genuine curiosity and thoughtful conversation, rather than superficial chatter. Asking about her opinions, exploring ideas together, and sharing perspectives on topics that matter to both of you communicates respect for her intellect. This is a subtle form of touch, an engagement of the mind that signals admiration for her capacity to think critically, feel deeply, and articulate her experiences. When she realizes that you are interested in her mind as much as her presence, it opens a space for intimacy that goes beyond appearances. Intellectual engagement also involves active listening and reflection. When she shares her insights or challenges, responding thoughtfully shows that you value her perspective. It is not about debating for the sake of winning or correcting her, but about exploring ideas together in a way that feels collaborative and stimulating. Discussing books, current events, philosophy, or even personal experiences in a way that invites exploration demonstrates a willingness to meet her at her level. A mature woman senses when her partner is genuinely curious versus when they are passively agreeing. The conscious effort to engage mentally acts as a steady, reassuring touch that fosters admiration, respect, and eventually emotional closeness. Another key element is shared curiosity. Engaging intellectually means embracing learning and growth as a shared journey. Exploring new topics, trying activities that challenge your minds together, or simply pondering meaningful questions as a team communicates partnership and mutual respect. This approach signals that your connection is not limited to routine or surface-level engagement, but is dynamic and evolving. The subtle emotional impact of this mental engagement is profound. It communicates that you see her as a full, complex individual whose mind is as valuable as her heart, creating a magnetic pull that deepens attachment. Finally, intellectual engagement strengthens the bond because it intertwines admiration with emotional intimacy. When she feels understood and mentally stimulated, she is more likely to open her heart, Genuine interest in her ideas builds trust, shows respect, and fosters a sense of companionship that extends beyond mere presence. This engagement is not a performance, it is a sincere investment in her inner world. Over time, it becomes a consistent form of emotional touch, subtle yet powerful, signaling that you are a partner who appreciates the full depth of who she is. Through intellectual connection, a mature woman feels seen, valued, and drawn to a relationship that stimulates both her mind and heart. Respect for boundaries is a cornerstone of meaningful connection with a mature woman. She has often navigated complex relationships and understands the value of personal space and autonomy. Demonstrating respect for her boundaries is not about limiting closeness, but about creating a safe and trusting environment where intimacy can grow naturally. Recognizing her need for time alone, emotional reflection, or personal routines communicates that you honor her individuality. When she feels that her limits are acknowledged without judgment or pressure, she experiences a profound sense of respect, which lays the foundation for deeper emotional connection and eventual attachment. Boundaries extend beyond physical space to emotional and mental realms. A mature woman may have sensitivities shaped by past experiences, and understanding these nuances is essential. Respecting her emotional boundaries means not pushing her to share more than she is ready to, and giving her the freedom to process her feelings at her own pace. Similarly, acknowledging mental boundaries involves listening to her perspectives without dismissing or attempting to dominate her thoughts. This form of consideration demonstrates that your interest in her is genuine and not conditional on her meeting expectations. Each act of respect becomes a subtle, reassuring touch that communicates care and attentiveness. Consistency in honoring boundaries is equally important. Respect is not a one-time gesture, but a continuous practice that reinforces trust over time. A mature woman observes patterns in behavior, noticing whether her partner consistently honors her limits or occasionally disregards them. By showing steady respect, you signal that you value her autonomy and are invested in creating a balanced relationship built on mutual understanding. This attentiveness nurtures emotional safety, which is essential for love to deepen. When she feels secure in her ability to maintain individuality while being in a partnership, she is more likely to open her heart fully, knowing that her inner life is honored rather than encroached upon. Finally, respecting boundaries is a form of nonverbal intimacy. It communicates patience, empathy, and reverence for her as a complete individual. Simple actions like checking in before offering advice, allowing space for reflection, or giving her freedom to pursue personal interests become profound gestures of care. These touches are quiet yet powerful, signaling that love is not about possession, but about nurturing a partnership where both individuals feel valued and understood. Over time, such respect fosters emotional safety, strengthens attachment, and encourages a mature woman to trust deeply, creating a foundation for love that is sustainable, meaningful, and heartfelt. Genuine affirmation is a subtle yet powerful way to build emotional intimacy with a mature woman. She has often experienced relationships where praise was either superficial or conditional, so authentic acknowledgement becomes especially meaningful. Genuine affirmation goes beyond empty compliments. It is about noticing her efforts, strengths, and values, and expressing appreciation in a way that feels real and heartfelt. When you affirm her in this manner, it communicates that you see her fully, not just her outward appearance or achievements, but the essence of who she is. This form of affirmation creates an emotional touch point that reassures her of her worth and encourages her to feel safe investing emotionally in the relationship. To practice genuine affirmation, it is essential to be observant and intentional. Pay attention to her actions, words, and choices, and reflect back your appreciation with sincerity. For instance, acknowledging her persistence in overcoming challenges, her thoughtfulness toward others, or the insight she brings to a discussion communicates that her qualities do not go unnoticed. These affirmations do not need to be elaborate. Even a simple, thoughtful comment can carry profound weight when it is authentic. Over time, consistent and heartfelt acknowledgement nurtures her self-esteem and strengthens the emotional bond, signaling that your connection is grounded in respect and admiration rather than superficial attraction. Genuine affirmation also involves timing and relevance. Offering recognition when she truly deserves it amplifies the impact, as it feels earned rather than obligatory. A mature woman can sense insincerity, so affirmations must come from a place of genuine observation rather than habit or expectation. Sharing your acknowledgement in private or public, depending on what resonates with her, demonstrates attunement to her preferences and emotional needs. This subtle emotional touch reinforces the idea that she is valued as a person and not just for the role she plays in your life. Over time, it becomes a recurring signal of care, reliability, and appreciation, deepening her emotional connection and attachment to you. Finally, genuine affirmation fosters reciprocity and trust. When a woman feels authentically seen and appreciated, she is more likely to mirror that openness, sharing her thoughts and feelings with confidence. This exchange strengthens the emotional intimacy of the relationship, creating a cycle where both partners feel valued and supported. Genuine affirmation communicates that love is rooted in awareness and respect, not performance or flattery. By consistently offering acknowledgement that resonates with her lived experience, you create an environment where a mature woman feels deeply understood, cherished, and drawn into a relationship that is meaningful, supportive, and lasting. Mindful listening is one of the most profound ways to create a deep emotional connection with a mature woman. It goes beyond simply hearing words. It is about fully engaging with her thoughts, feelings, and the meaning behind what she expresses. A mature woman has likely experienced many moments where she felt overlooked or unheard, so demonstrating genuine attentiveness becomes a powerful form of emotional touch. Mindful listening involves giving her your full attention, observing both verbal and nonverbal cues, and responding in a way that communicates understanding. When she senses that her words are valued and that her perspective matters, it cultivates trust and allows her to feel safe opening up at a deeper level. Practicing mindful listening requires presence and patience. This means resisting the urge to interrupt, offer immediate solutions, or redirect the conversation to yourself. Instead, focus on absorbing her message, reflecting on her feelings, and asking thoughtful questions that demonstrate curiosity and engagement. Even subtle gestures such as maintaining eye contact, nodding, or providing verbal affirmations signal that you are fully invested in understanding her. For a mature woman, these small yet consistent acts convey respect and empathy, creating a quiet emotional touch that strengthens intimacy and communicates that her inner world is important to you. Mindful listening also encourages emotional validation. A mature woman values a partner who not only hears her but acknowledges and reflects her emotions without judgment. This might involve paraphrasing what she has shared, expressing understanding of her perspective, or gently exploring her feelings in a supportive way. By validating her experiences, you convey that her emotions are legitimate and respected. Over time, this practice fosters a sense of safety and closeness, making her feel that she can trust you with her thoughts and vulnerabilities. It is in this attentive, empathetic engagement that deep emotional bonds are formed and sustained. Finally, mindful listening nurtures reciprocal intimacy. When a woman experiences consistent attentiveness, she is more likely to mirror that openness and share more of herself. The relationship evolves into a dynamic exchange where both partners feel genuinely heard and valued. This creates a foundation for connection that is authentic, emotionally rich, and resilient. Mindful listening acts as a subtle, ongoing touch that communicates care, respect, and emotional investment. By prioritizing her words, emotions, and experiences, you foster a relationship where a mature woman feels profoundly understood, supported, and drawn into love with a partner who listens not just to respond, but to truly understand. Small acts of thoughtfulness are often more powerful than grand gestures when it comes to nurturing a connection with a mature woman. She has likely experienced relationships where attention was fleeting or superficial. So noticing and acting on the little things becomes deeply meaningful. Thoughtfulness is not about extravagance. It is about demonstrating awareness and care through consistent, intentional actions. Remembering her preferences, anticipating her needs, or performing simple acts that make her day easier communicates that she is valued and seen. These small touches create a steady rhythm of reassurance, forming a foundation of emotional intimacy that grows stronger with each considerate gesture. Being thoughtful requires attentiveness to her daily life and emotional state. This could include remembering her favorite beverage, sending a supportive message during a challenging day, or offering help without being asked. Such gestures communicate that you are present in her life and that her comfort and happiness matter to you. Importantly, these acts should feel sincere and tailored to her personality. Generic efforts can feel empty. A mature woman notices the intention behind actions, and when thoughtfulness is consistent, it becomes a subtle emotional touch that conveys care, respect, and attentiveness without the need for words or grand declarations. Small acts of thoughtfulness also reinforce emotional connection by demonstrating empathy and consideration. By paying attention to her needs and responding in meaningful ways, you signal that her well-being is important to you. These gestures create a sense of partnership and mutual support, showing that love is expressed not just through feelings but through actions. Thoughtfulness becomes a language of its own, communicating devotion, attentiveness, and understanding in ways that resonate deeply. Over time, these consistent actions accumulate, building trust and attachment, and making her feel genuinely appreciated in a relationship that honors her individuality. Finally, thoughtfulness nurtures a sense of shared life and connection. It conveys that you are attuned to her experiences and committed to contributing positively to her daily world. These small gestures, checking in after a long day, offering encouragement, or noticing what makes her smile, become meaningful forms of touch that speak directly to her heart. For a mature woman, consistent thoughtfulness communicates that she is not taken for granted, that her life and emotions matter, and that your love is expressed through attentive care. Over time, these acts create a pattern of emotional support and appreciation, strengthening the bond and allowing her to feel fully loved, respected, and deeply connected. Consistency and emotional transparency is one of the most essential qualities for fostering a deep connection with a mature woman. She has likely experienced relationships where communication was unclear, emotions were hidden, or intentions were ambiguous, which can lead to uncertainty and mistrust. By consistently sharing your feelings, thoughts, and intentions in an honest and respectful manner, you create a sense of reliability and clarity. Emotional transparency is not about oversharing every fleeting emotion, but about cultivating openness in a way that builds trust. When she sees that you communicate authentically and regularly, it reassures her that she is engaging with someone who values honesty and emotional integrity, providing a stable foundation for a deeper bond. Maintaining transparency requires self-awareness and intentionality. It involves recognizing your emotions, understanding their origins, and communicating them thoughtfully. For a mature woman, this demonstrates emotional maturity and responsibility, signaling that you are capable of managing your inner world while remaining accountable in the relationship. Consistency in this practice communicates that you are not playing games or hiding parts of yourself to manipulate her feelings. Instead, it shows that you value her enough to share your authentic self. Over time, this reliability becomes a subtle but powerful emotional touch, reinforcing trust and encouraging her to reciprocate with openness, deepening the sense of intimacy and connection. Consistency in emotional transparency also reinforces relational safety. By regularly expressing your feelings, whether it is appreciation, concern, or even admitting mistakes, you create an environment where honesty is normalized and valued. A mature woman can sense when transparency is genuine versus performative, so consistency is key. When your words and actions align, she feels confident that what you communicate reflects your true intentions and emotions. This reduces uncertainty, strengthens emotional attachment, and encourages her to share her own thoughts and vulnerabilities freely. Emotional transparency becomes a connective thread that allows love to flourish without fear of misunderstanding or misalignment. Finally, consistent emotional transparency nurtures mutual respect and growth within the relationship. By demonstrating a willingness to be open about your emotions, you model a form of authenticity that invites her to do the same. This mutual openness allows both partners to understand each other on a deeper level, addressing conflicts constructively, celebrating joys meaningfully, and navigating challenges together. It communicates that love is rooted in honesty, care, and mutual responsibility rather than pretense or avoidance. Over time, this consistent practice of transparency becomes a vital touchstone, making a mature woman feel seen, understood, and secure enough to fall deeply in love, knowing that the emotional connection is genuine, steady, and enduring.